Okay, so if you've bought yourself a PC and you're wanting to get it set up for Christmas, we have some tips and advice. So to open the box properly, you're going to want a knife. It doesn't have to be a Stanley knife, any knife at all, and all you're doing simply is removing the cuts of tape. Once removed, the easiest way to get it all out of the box, if you bought it from us, you'll have your customer pack here with all the additional information. Just pop it aside. So the easiest way is to unfold all four sides of the top of the box like so. One other thing you're going to want to do is remove any cables that are down the side of the PC, especially if it's from us, that's where we tend to put them. So just have a quick check. That's it, all good. Okay, the other thing you're going to want to check is these little tabs, because if you leave these in, flip it over and go to take it out, they'll stop it from going out. So the easiest way to deal with that is put your hand down and push it out so they're on the outside like that. Same on the other side, like so. And at this point, you can hold it by both corners, holding the edges down. Flip the PC over, so it's like this. At this point, it's just a case of hold straight up. Easy peasy, nice and simple. So, from here, the best way to then do it would be to go top of the PC down first, like so. Pop that off, and then you're flipping it straight over the other way. Pop that off, on PC. So, next we will have your monitor. Now it might not look like this, it might be in a different box, it might be a different manufacturer, but they're all pretty much the same. So, unboxing these is pretty simple. Just a matter of opening it up, and you'll see in here we'll have a couple of different bags. Power cables, sometimes visual cables. We'll see a bit clearer when we unbox it. So, easiest way to unbox one of these will be quite similar to your PC. Where we go up. Now what I would always tend to do at this point when it's half off is just put your hand on like this. Just because these two bits are actually separated, so it stops the monitor from going anywhere. Once you get it about halfway off, lay it down flat. And at that point, we can pull off the box. So, in here we have the all-important base. If you're using a Visa mount, you won't have to worry about this. If you're going on to like a dual monitor mount or a single monitor mount or something like that, if you're not, you will need your base. So what you're going to want to do is attach this part here is going to go onto the back of the monitor. So, this is the monitor itself. Now on this one I'm not going to unbox it. I'm not going to take it out of the packaging. This is just an example to show you. But you can see quite clearly here, hopefully, in this section here, that's where this is going to slide into here. Now once that is in, it's a case then of putting the bottom end of this onto the mountable stand. Now every monitor is different, so yours might not be like this, but it's going to be a similar setup. And that's all you're really doing to get your monitor set up out of the box and ready for use. Okay, so now we have all the unboxing done. The next most important thing we need to do is to put all the kit together basically and have all the cables running to where they need to run. And for some people, if you've never done it before, it can be a little bit confusing, but it's really, really simple. You'll start with your power cables. Your power cables will be provided with your PC if it's purchased from us. So will your visual cables. So basically everything you need to get the PC up and running and used on Christmas Day will be provided by ourselves. This is your power cable. Now yours might be slightly different depending on the power supply and stuff like that. Most of them, 99% of them are standard as this, which is known as a kettle cord cable. So for the likes of your monitor, you have your power port here. It might be quite difficult to see, but that's your power port there. And this, you will have 3 pins in the port, and this will have 3 slots, and you have 2 on the bottom and 1 on the top. All you're doing is lining them up and pushing it in. It is that simple. So, same cable, same style in most cases. And on the back of the PC here, you have a couple of things. You have your output from your motherboard. That's not where we're going with this one. You have output from your graphics card, and the most important area for what we're doing right now is your power supply input. So this is what you're looking for here. Now basically, same story as that. You're lining them up, pushing it in. Simple as that. This wee switch, I would leave that in the circle position. Circle position basically means that there is no power going through the unit. That's a circuit breaker and you've now broke the circuit. Leave it there for now until you're actually about to power the PC up. But don't forget about it, because if that's not switched across, the PC won't power on. Okay, that's step 1. The next thing we're going to want to do is visual data. So HDMI cable, DisplayPort to HDMI, vice versa, DVI, depends on what your setup was. But in your box, especially if you've bought it from us, you should have a visual display cable there. One end of this is going into the back of your monitor. So you basically find an HDMI input on the back of the monitor. Plug that in. Simple as, same as your TV, no different. Like so. On the computer end of things, there's a little bit more to it. Now it's not by any means difficult, but just to put you in the picture. On some PCs, you will have a graphics card. Your graphics card is what's responsible for your graphics output. On this, you do have a graphics card. So on 99% of systems, you will find the vertical run, as I like to call it, is your motherboard output. The horizontal run is where your graphics card output is. So what we get a lot of people doing, especially if it's first PC and it's really easy done, they'll take this, they'll see, oh, well, this board doesn't, but just as an example, oh, I have an HDMI port here, and they try and plug it in there, turn it on, no signal. And then they think instantly, oh, the computer's not working, which is a reasonable thought. The reason being is because the graphics output power comes from here. So with no cable going in there, you're not getting any graphics. And that's basically what you're looking for. So in this I have DVI, HDMI and DisplayPort. We're going to HDMI. Like so. If you bought the PC from us, you'll see a wee sticker there. That sticker's just to let you know that's where the monitor cable's connected to. So with that done, the final thing, I'll leave this here, because the final thing that we'll need to do is connect your peripherals. So, with this, we have a headset, and you have a couple of options here. You can, if you want, go into the front. So on the front of the case, you can't really see it here, but in the front of the case you have input for audio in, and you have a mic line in as well. You also have the same on the back. The back also color coded, so you can't really get it wrong. Green goes to green, pink goes to pink. That's that connected. Depending on your headset, you might also have USB power to power lights. If you have a USB connector alongside these, plug the USB into there somewhere. That's that one done. Okay, we'll move that up there. So the next couple of things you'll need, pretty important. Your mouse, and eventually your keyboard. They both go in the same place. Which again, if you like, if you've USBs in the top, you can plug them into there, just depending on where your computer sits. That might be easier for you and give you enough cable. Most people tend to go in the back. Like so. Again, just a standard USB port to plug into, so nothing too specialised or complicated with it. Your keyboard, same story, just USB, and all we're going to do is plug that in there like so. Now, if you recall at the very beginning, very beginning, there was a switch that we knocked off here on the power supply, which is this wee one here. Everything's now plugged in and ready to power on, so we can flick that across, and as you can see, we're going to get lights because it's letting power run through the unit at this point. We have a system that should power on. Just like that. So there's one tip while we're here and we're set up like that. We've been doing this for years. That HDMI cable wasn't fully in. It happens to everybody, something to watch out for. One thing, if you plug in your PC on Christmas Day and you're not getting a signal to your monitor, first thing to do, double check your cables, because it can happen to someone who's no idea about PCs, and it can happen to those of us who work with them every day as well, as you've just seen. So, well worth doing. That being the case, PC's up and ready to go. The one important thing we need to get out of here is this, and what this gives us is a connection to Wi-Fi. Without this, you'll need a hardline cable for your Ethernet to plug into the back. If you have one of these, that eliminates that problem. So, with opening them up, relatively self-explanatory, as I struggle to open it up. Opened, okay. Now, you will have a driver install disc in there. Don't panic, these are plug and play. So these are only for like real emergency scenarios whenever that plug and play doesn't work, which in our experience we're yet to see on this model. And that is what's going to give you Wi-Fi. Now again, it depends where you'd like to plug that in is going to depend on where your router is located. So if you imagine this is my living room and my router is located just there, just behind the camera. Perfect. Plug it in the top, it's going to give good signal. Plug it in the back, it's going to give good signal. So if I plug it in here as an example, you imagine the signal coming off it is like this and like this. So you're going to want to plug it in directionally. So for example, if my router is way over there, 2 rooms across, I'm not really going to want it on the front. I'm going to want it facing that direction. You can play about with them and you'll find where it gives you a better signal. That's usually the best option. Now with this, as I say, with these are plug and play. And that's us connected. Simple as that. You're now ready to surf the web. Final thing we should probably chat about. Hold on. So, the last thing we should have a chat about is the actual PC itself and the PC's placement. You really want to make sure that your intake, which is like these mesh fence on the front, is not blocked in any way. So like if you put it tight against, let's say this is your wall. You want to put it tight against your wall, don't put it in face first, because you're completely restricting airflow there, which is going to impact your performance. So if you're one of those people who in-game is desperate to get the highest FPS possible, you don't want to be doing that. The other thing to keep an eye out for is putting it on carpet. So what you'll find is a lot of people will put it on carpet that is rather plush or rather thick. and they will set it on. Now what you're actually doing there, as you can see, is you're blocking the intake for your power supply. Your power supply intakes air from here and exhausts air from here. So if you block this up, the power supply is not getting any air.